Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network channel. I am, as always, your host, the Ohio Patriot. So, for today's episode, we're going to be talking about a couple of different topics. Main topics of the day will be the whole Russia-Ukraine war situation, whatever I can call it at this point. Proxy war is what I consider it to be at this point, honestly, in history. We'll be talking about that for a little bit. We'll also be talking about voting rights and should people who want to come from states that are blue states and continue to vote Democrat, should they be able to have voting rights at all in red states? And we'll definitely get into why the answer is no on that one, or at least why it should be a suspension of voting rights and stuff like that anyway. And, call it fucking, voter suppression if you want. I don't give a fuck, honestly, dude, at this point, to be honest with you, because again, when you're coming into my state and trying to fuck with my rights, like, no, you don't have the right to come in and fuck over my rights by voting some fucking dick stain in a fucking office that you're then bribing the way that Moms Demand Action, a bunch of those assholes from fucking Connecticut have come from Connecticut to Ohio now in the past decade and are doing just exactly that shit with fucking Democrats like Allison Russo, dude. So no, fuck that shit, dude, entirely. But anyway, so yeah, we'll get into that talk here in a little bit and stuff, and then we'll obviously discuss some other stuff with some Chi-Com fuckboys that want to go and run for office right now in California, and how pretty much what I believe is happening in this country with China actually invading us from the inside out right now. So if there ever is a war, proxy war, whatever the case be here, it'll be on two fronts, and we'll basically be getting shot in the back is what it is, dude. I mean that seriously. So anyway, so starting out with the Russia-Ukraine situation here. So for those who don't know, obviously there's all the shit going on there for the past several months now. And, it was basically from what we've all figured out, essentially it was Putin putting up a bunch of conscripts to go fight and try to take Ukraine and stuff like that and make essentially the USSR again is what it was. At least in my opinion, that's what it was supposed to have been, or whatever they were trying to do there is what it was. So basically you have Ukraine that is one of the most corrupt fucking countries ever in this nation, in any nation's history, and in this world's history is what it is. That is nothing but a fucking proxy front where a bunch of elitist scumbags like Joe Biden and stuff like that were going to run back to if the United States ever went belly up, basically. And instead, you had Vladimir Putin was like, no, fuck you. I'm going to go ahead and invade your little fucking backdoor shit show, and I'm going to fucking, call you bitches out for the one world government you basically want to create at this point, dude. Now, granted, do I think Putin's a good guy? Fuck no. Fuck Russia and fuck Ukraine both, dude. Seriously. Fuck them all. Honestly. They could bomb each other to hell for all I fucking care, honestly, dude. What the problem becomes then is that all this bullshit is now affecting the U.S. economy in many fucking ways because we keep giving not only fucking a bunch of cash bailouts to fucking Ukraine, which where the hell are these billions of dollars even going? Nobody fucking knows, but I can tell you some of where it's going actually, because you see high-level ranking officials from Ukraine literally leaving Ukraine with suitcases full of fucking cash and shit, dude. That's what's happening to that money that we're sending over there in pallets and stuff like that. There's the same exact fucking thing happened in Afghanistan after 9/11 and stuff like that. We sent pallets full of cash over there, and where did it end up? In the fucking hands of the damn Taliban, dude. And it's the same bullshit there in fucking Ukraine. It ends up in the fucking hands of the high officials and stuff like that are corrupt as shit, and then it eventually comes back to U.S. politicians is what it is, dude. And that's the entire fucking point of the whole thing. And no, we shouldn't be fucking sending these fuckers any money, nor should we be sending them any munitions for that matter either, dude. Because again, when you have our stuff, whether it be tank javelins or anti-tank missiles, whatever it is, dude, you're talking about shit in the U.S. arsenal right now that takes 3 to 5 years per thing to actually replenish, dude. So you're talking about every single missile that we've sent over there right now. That's one more missile that we have to make another 3 to 5 years from now. When you have, and again, it goes back to something I talked about months ago, and then even I think on Rumblequakes and stuff like that as well, which is when you have a situation of, that 2 is 1 and 1 is none mentality and stuff like that, and you have so many of these things in the U.S. military industrial complex being fucking single-use factories and stuff like that, dude, yeah, it's 1 is none now is what it is, dude, because it's going to take so fucking long to replenish that shit. You're talking about 10, 20, 30 years from now is what's going to be, dude. And not only that, now I'm hearing in the last couple months now that you have actual, I forget what the actual gun is, but it's basically some like crazy, like almost like recoilless gun that our military uses. It's like special operations guys and stuff. They're taking those away from those guys now that are in active fucking use over in the Middle East and every other place like that, dude, in various, conflicts that we're part of right now, and that we're trying to do like actual fucking, hey, let's go take this fucking dictator out kind of thing or whatever. And they're like, oh no, you guys can't have this no more. We got to take this and give it to Ukraine now. Like, what the fuck? So you're actively fucking over the U.S. military now is what it is, dude. And you're actually going to get people killed that are active military right now because of this shit, dude. And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Like, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. And this is why I say fuck both these nations, dude, entirely. Like, fuck their bullshit-ass proxy war. And I think the biggest thing with Putin was what he assumed it was going to be, and that's why he sent in his whole, like, you know, basically conscription, legion of people is what it was, is because what he assumed it was going to happen was it was going to be something where they were walking with open arms by Ukrainians and stuff like that. And, you know, they were going to be like, okay, cool, we're part of Russia again, we're part of the USSR again, kind of thing is what it was. In reality, they're like, no, fuck you, Putin, go to dick, basically. And the real issue became then is that you had people in America, the leadership here in America, whether it be Biden and company or whatever the case be, plus all the other NATO nations and stuff like that, being like, hey, we're going to go ahead and give Ukraine a ton of our fucking shit is what it is, dude, to use in this whole thing, while deplenishing our own fucking resources, by the way, in many cases. And it's like, no, that's fucking stupid, dude. And the thing is, if it wasn't for the United States and every other fucking NATO nation literally propping up Ukraine, they would have lost this war to Russia fucking within the first 10 days, basically, dude, is what would happen there. But because you keep having munitions sent over there, because you keep having cash sent over there to buy other stuff from other countries and stuff like that, dude, that's why this shit's gone on for so long, and that's why Russia's actually losing right now, and why they're actually got to the point now where Putin put out some bullshit message yesterday and was all like, oh, well, now we're going to send in our real troops kind of thing is what it is, which is what he should have done, like, you know, a few months ago or whatever the case be, this whole thing. And I think the reason that he's waited till this long, I really do think this is political theater at this point, dude. And I think their real end game is to basically fuck over the United States elections in November, dude. It's an October surprise that's coming, and it's going to be like, oh, no, sorry, we're now in World War III. We got to suspend all election cycles and shit like that. And it's like, no, go fuck yourself, dude. Because that would be the twofold thing that basically starts a second American Revolution on U.S. soil, dude. And then that would lead to another thing in of itself, or when I say revolution, I mean either revolution or legitimately civil war that would eventually lead to revolution. Or it would be a situation where it's all that stuff combining together, and then you have fucking backdoor Chinese fucking sleeper cells already ready to go, and like Islamic terrorist sleeper cells ready to go and stuff like that. And then all those people get activated, and now you have basically Americans fighting shit on two fronts then. And we're fighting the fucking U.S. government, and we're also fighting their fucking Chi-Com fuckboys is what it is, dude, and stuff like that is what it would be then. And for those wondering what I'm talking about on that one, there's a chick that Biden nominated recently for some like climate czar position or whatever the case be that has legitimately ties to CCP and fucking Chinese military, dude. Or it's the Chinese Communist Party over there in China, and it's also their military and stuff like that, dude. So, and then not only that, we also have other people as well that I'm going to talk about here in a minute or two. So my thing is, it goes back to that situation of like, yeah, fuck all this shit, dude. Like, no, we don't need to be in these fucking proxy wars. We don't need to be, first of all, America doesn't need to be in any war at all, dude. We're not the fucking world police. We need to stop fucking acting like it. We need to stop letting these fucking old fucking pieces of shit, fucking scumbag ass silent generation motherfuckers and old baby boomer generation motherfuckers maintain power in office for 40 to 50 fucking years or more, dude, in a lot of cases. Or anything over like 10 years. It should be, you're done. It's like, no, you got 10 years, get the fuck out, don't come back. You're not fucking running for anything else after that, asshole. And if you're like a U.S. senator or whatever at the time, okay, cool, you get 2 terms, and then fuck you, get the hell out, is what it would be then. And it's as simple as that, really. And my biggest issue right now is the fact that, again, it goes back to these things where these people are in power for 15, 20, 25, 30 something plus odd years or so, or 40, 50 years in cases of Pelosi and, you know, Schumer and fucking Feinstein and Waters and people like that is what it would be, man. Or even in case of Biden is really what it is, dude. Because again, you know, the guy was in the U.S. Senate for fucking, 30-something years, dude, is what it was. Fucking VP for 8 years and is now, quote-unquote, president for the current time period. So, anyway. Again, I have to use the quote-unquote because we can't talk about things on this fucking platform, unfortunately, because I don't want to get channel strikes, is what it is. Again, watch 2,000 Mules and you'll see what I'm talking about, dude. And I'll leave it at that. But anyway. So basically, going on to what I was mentioning about the other thing I want to talk about today, which is basically, voting rights in other states and stuff like that, if you're going to keep voting like a fucking retard, basically. So you got this stupid motherfucker from California, again, going back to Chi-Com fuckboys that I mentioned in the beginning of this episode. You got this sack of shit, California Democrat, Jay Chan, says Republicans are not educated, susceptible to conspiracy. Says everybody that wants to sit there and claim January 6th was a insurrection and equivalent to 9/11 and all this other stupid bullshit, dude. Yeah, go fuck yourself, Jay Chan. Seriously, bro. Anyway, this is California Democrat Jay Chan, who is running for U.S. Congress against Representative Michelle Steele, the Republican in that seat right now. Bashed Republican voters, called them not educated in acceptable conspiracy theories, except it's all delayed reality, you fucking jerk off. It said Chan's comments came during a Zoom call hosted by Indivisible Sonona, a radical organization that purports to fight, quote, an external struggle against American fascism perpetrated by the Republican Party. So quite literally a communist organization is what they're saying on that one, dude. That's what this Chi-Com fuckboy is literally part of, dude. Is a literal fucking communist organization. Said while speaking about critical race theory, or CRT, the California Democrat claimed there is a, quote, broad attack on public education. No, it's called we don't want your anti-white racism bullshit in our fucking school systems, asswipe. It's exactly why in a few days here, the Ohio General Assembly is going to have a committee for our own parental rights bill where we're going to ban CRT by fucking name when it passes. And the same thing with that 1619 Project horseshit lies that the fucking dumb bitch made up, dude. Which, by the way, the 1619 Project is 100% a fucking fake news book is what it is, dude. It's a literal lie. Anyway, continuing on here and said, Chan said, quote, you know, there's just been this broad attack on public education. You mean the fucking potential child molesters in public education? Is that what you're talking about, asswipe? Or are you talking about these fucking communist education, Antifa BLM types that are teaching kids to hate themselves because they're fucking white? Is that what you really mean, asshole? Or is it like that thing I talked about yesterday where it was the fucking teacher in California in the Pacific Palisades school that literally talks about pushing white kids into uncomfortable racial situations and basically talking about them shit-talking them just for being white and stuff like that, dude? Is that what you're talking about, Chan, that actually fucking exists, you asswipe? Fuck boy. Anyway, taking on with this though, it said dipshit Chan claimed these accusations that, oh, you know everything. If you're teaching American history, if you're teaching about our history, such as the Japanese-American internment, that's critical race theory, and that's making folks feel bad, so you can't teach it. Our teachers are indoctrinating our students. Well, first of all, dickhead, as far as I'm aware, most history classes, at least for younger kids and stuff, don't even teach about the Japanese internment stuff, number one, which they should, honestly. And number two, that is not critical race theory, you jackass. What critical race theory is it's them literally talking to these kids about, oh, you need to examine your whiteness and you need to repent for being white and shit. That's what critical race theory is, dickhead. And by the way, I'd like to point something out, that CRT, critical race theory, actually came from African studies courses in fucking colleges, dude. It was like Black/African history courses that existed there back in the day, and this was like 20 years ago or so. And then it basically spread out from there is what it was, dude. And there was communist indoctrination back then, because again, even back then, it was talking about shitting on people for being white. And then you wonder why so many of these quote unquote college educated people are so fucking indoctrinated and retarded, dude, is what it is. And that's what it really is, honestly, dude. College commies is what I like to call them, because that's what they fucking are, dude. It's why they fall to Antifa and shit like that so easily. Because they're a bunch of susceptible fucking hive mind morons is what it is, dude. Who never should have voting rights in this country ever, is what it is. Anyway, it would literally be Chan's base, by the way, on this for the most part. The people that would vote this jackass into office. But anywho, as it says here in this article, it said Chan then admitted that he would face attacks from those who are against CRT. You know, I'm going to be the recipient of some of these attacks, unfortunately. They're going to be claiming that because our school district was teaching Chinese, that meant we were trying to indoctrinate our students into communism. Literally, that will be one point of the attack that's going to come up with. Well, here's my question. Why the fuck are you teaching these kids Chinese in schools, dude? Like, is there a reason for that? Is that a foreign language that they can take? Or is it something where it's like mandatory in California schools where it's like, no, you must learn Chinese or Mandarin or whatever, dude? And it's like, again, are you trying to fucking prime these kids to become indoctrinated to accept communism, specifically Chinese fucking overlords, buddy, and the social credit score and stuff like that? Probably would be my guess, honestly. Anyway, Let's see. It said, after his comments on CRT, Chan went on to bash Republican voters, saying, but it's part of the broader attack to delegitimize public education because honestly, that improve that improves that increases their base of voters. If you have folks who are not educated, who are susceptible to conspiracy theories, they will be joining the Republican Party. Fucking lie after lie, buddy. Lie after lie, asshole. Number one. Number two, secondly, there is a lot of illiterate kids in schools right now, dude, and it's because of the Democrat Party that has caused that shit, man, because they don't want to teach you guys how to read, write, etc., dude. And those tend to be the people that vote Democrat their entire lives, by the way, because they're uneducated, misinformed, uninformed, fucking, disinformation campaigns, etc., there, dude. Or they'll believe the fucking bullshit like fucking Amelia Sykes and the DCCC are putting out here in Ohio about Madison Gilbert, where they're like, oh, she supports this thing or that thing. And it's like, no, what she supports is being pro-life fucking candidate and not wanting to see fucking children murdered in the womb to the moment of fucking birth, people. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's not that hard to figure out, dude. And that's the problem with these people, dude. And so they'll instead be like, no. And I love how they keep using the 10-year-old girl thing here in Ohio, too, by the way. And it's like, what they fail to mention in that, all these Democrats, is how it was the Democrat Party who allowed part of Ohio to become a sanctuary fucking city where the illegal alien who raped that little girl was fucking being allowed to be left in, dude, for a decade. And how he was able to rape that child to begin with was because he was dating her fucking shithead mother or whatever, dude, or her fucking legal guardian, whatever it was. I'm not even sure if the woman was her mom or not, dude. She might have just been a legal guardian, honestly. That never has been proven if she's actually her mom or not, honestly, at this point. But it's like, yeah, it's some fucking piece of shit woman who let some fucking child molester rape her fucking kid, dude, is what it was, and then defended his fucking actions. And that's why she should be fucking facing charges, too, and possible deportation, because I know for a fact she's fucking illegal in this country as well, dude. They both are. And I think the kid is, too, honestly. Now, granted, that kid should actually be able to seek asylum at this point, dude, because, again, you're getting away from fucking potentially 2 child molesters then. But anyway, as it continued on here, it said, Chan's comments about Republican voters are not the first time the Democrat has been under fire for his off-the-cuff remarks. More than 20 Asian American and Pacific Islander advocacy groups protested outside of Chan's office for his racist comments about Representative Steele. Chan previously made fun of Steele's accent, saying, you kind of need an interpreter to figure out exactly what she's saying. That's fucked up, dude. What is Michelle Steele? Is she also Asian, some kind of Asian, or is she something else for that matter? Because I'm not sure on that one. Let me go look her up real quick, and then maybe I'll do a screen share if I can find a picture of her or something. Oh no, yeah, she's also an Asian lady. Let's see. Michelle Steele is an American politician serving U.S. Congress. She literally just won that seat, by the way. I think this might have been one of the seats that flipped Republican in this district, actually, back in 2020. Yes, member of the Republican Party. Currently, she is serves as member of House Majority Whip Steve Scalise's whip team. Whip team. What the fuck? Could they not make that a better terminology, dude? Like, that just sounds real bad, honestly. What are you? I'm part of the whip team. We're gonna whip these motherfuckers into shape. No, seriously, that is funny. But yeah, no, it makes it like, because obviously, for those who don't know who Steve Scalise is, he's the guy that almost got killed by the Bernie Sanders supporter at the Republican baseball practice for the baseball game there that they were doing against Democrats a few years back, and thank God he survived that. Okay, so this Michelle Steele woman was originally born in Seoul, South Korea in 1955. Let's see where Chan is originally from here, dude, because I guarantee he's either an anchor child through some Chinese fucking birthright citizenship bullshit, dude, fucking Chinese flight crap, or something else for that matter. Okay, Kalamazoo, Michigan in 1978. Okay. So yeah, probably something like that then. Probably some birth tourism shit is my guess, honestly, dude. Yeah. Fucking Chan is such a sack of shit, though, dude. Fuck him. Fuck him and fuck the Democrat Party, especially Democrat Party of California, dude. Fuck all those people. Seriously. Which basically brings me to the point of the entire point of this episode, which is talking about voting rights as well, which basically leads to the fact of, and this is something I was listening to on Never Enough Analyst podcast in the past couple of days, which was him talking about these people that he met that had moved to Texas from California a few years ago. and were bitching. Mind you, they were gunners and stuff like that. And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's so much better here in Texas, but yeah, we'll never vote for Republicans, and we love Democrats and all this other stuff like that." And it's like, dude, you literally escaped fucking high taxation and everything else like that because you voted for Democrats, and then you tried to move, and now you want to keep voting for Democrats. And again, it goes back to a whole like basically a retarded mentality is what it is, dude. And honestly, it's I believe it was this guy Shotred that brought up the the point of it, which is basically it becomes kind of a mind sync thing where if these people finally admit that they're wrong about something, whether it be how they vote or whatever the case be, that they're like, okay, what else was I wrong about? You know, is my entire life a fucking, you know, fabrication kind of thing is what it is, dude. And that's, I think, the problem entirely. And so you have these people that want to maintain willful ignorance, so they'll keep voting the same fucking way, you know, definition of insanity, and expecting different results is what it is. And it's never going to change, dude. And that's the whole point. And I'm not going to sit here and fucking say that the Republican Party is any better. In fact, like I said before, I think the best thing America can do as a whole right now is we boot both parties out of fucking office entirely, kick them both out of the fucking party system as a whole for like a few decades or whatever, dude, and replace them with like 40 to 100 new parties is what it is, man, across the board. Actually, it would be about 50 to 100 new parties, and I don't even care if it's fucking, you know, whether it be the Constitution Party or whether it be the fucking Communist Party. At least then the people that are running in these parties would actually admit what the fuck they are is what it is, dude. You know, seriously. Like, I'd much rather have somebody admitting straight up that they were a fucking communist or a socialist or something like that and running underneath that party specifically than being like, no, I'm just a Democrat. I'm just a Democrat politician. I'm just a fucking Republican politician. But in reality, they're a rhino sack of shit who hates guns and stuff like that, dude. And it's like, nah, bro. Like, you know, seriously. Like, at what point do we just say enough is enough, honestly, dude? Which goes to the other thing I was going to talk about, which I kind of, you know, printed on early in the episode in the first few minutes there, which is basically if these people are going to move states, you know, whether, like I said, whether it be Moms Demand Action types moving from Connecticut to Ohio after Sandy Hook, or whether it be fucking Democrats moving from California to Texas, or, you know, Washington State or Oregon, or, you know, Montana, or whatever the case be there, dude. It's like, should these people have voting rights if they're going to keep voting the same kind of retarded morons into power? No, they fucking shouldn't. At least not for a decade anyway. Like, I would say, honestly, if you're gonna move like that, and you're gonna be legitimate about, like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep voting the same way or whatever the case be, and just be a fucking locus on your system now than I was on my old system and stuff like that, be like, no, you don't have voting rights for a decade, and in that decade time, then it allows the people of that state to protect their own fucking interests, dude, protect their own constitutional rights then, whether it be passing stuff like constitutional carry and stand your ground and stuff like that, and re-solidifying that shit, or whether it be, you know, actually putting amendments into their own state constitution and stuff like that to make sure that this shit can never be repealed and stuff like that, dude. You know, putting like a moratorium on there of like a couple thousand years or some shit like that, where it's like, no, you can't do anything against this for like a couple thousand years or something like that, dude. And that way it would be a way for us to protect ourselves versus these fucking scumbag piece of shit criminals in most cases. Because like I said, when it comes to the bitches from Moms Demand Action, you literally have them potentially bribing a state official a little over a year ago on fucking camera during a House Oversight Committee for constitutional carry hearings, dude. That chick's name is Allison Russo, by the way. She's a member of the Democrat Party. She's up for re-election. She tried to run a special election, and that was around the time that she was running that special election for Congress that she lost a current rep, Mike Carey. And actually, now I think about it, because I was thinking about Jim Jordan being the only good Republican in office from Ohio and stuff like that at the federal level. No, it's him and Mike Carey are the only two, really, is what it is, dude. Like, everybody else can fuck off. The other 14 right now can fuck off, which now it's going to be like other 13 because we're losing a seat is what it is right now. Because fucking people, you know, dying or moving out of the state or whatever the case be, dude. So, anyway, it's a bunch of shit either way, man. Which brings me to my next point, which I am going to definitely call the Republican state reps and Secretary of State this week about this whole thing, which is why a piece of shit Tim Ryan needs to be booted off the fucking Ohio ballot for the U.S. Senate race, dude, entirely. And he needs to be completely removed from that and investigated for terrorism at this point, and potentially as accessory to murder as well, dude. You had a current candidate for one of the seats right now, J.R. Mowowski, I think it's how I pronounce that name, or Majewski. Yeah, J.R. Majewski. said, I don't think it's hyperbole when Tim Ryan calls to kill and confront MAGA movement. No, he doesn't, dude. The fucking whole entire point of Tim Ryan's whole comment, dude, was that's what he wants to do. He wants to murder us. And it's like, how the fuck are we going to let this shit fly, dude? Like, seriously, every Ohioan right now should be demanding this motherfucker be removed from the ballot entirely and investigated for fucking criminal charges after the fact, dude. And find his way to an Ohio State prison by the end of the fucking year is what it is. Remove Tim Ryan from the ballot entirely, dude. It's as simple as that, honestly. Anyway, said congressional candidate Jared Majewski told Breitbart News, I don't think it's hyperbole, in reference to Democrat Senate candidate Tim Ryan saying the left needs to kill and confront MAGA movement. Said Trump-endorsed congressional candidate JR, who is running in Ohio's 9th district, responded to Tim Ryan's comments in an interview with Breitbart News. I don't think it's hyperbole when it's coming from that party, is what JR said. Congressional candidate went on to say Democrats want to call Republicans extremists for wanting lower gas prices, for standing up and saluting the flag, and for standing for the pledge, for going to church on Sunday, for wanting their children to get a reasonable education, and for not wanting to have an active level, or for wanting to have an active participation in all of that. And the reality of it is that the extreme party is the Democrat Party. Former President Donald Trump also commented on Tim Ryan's statement, saying, if he says it, it's fine. If I say it, we'd like to raise your voice a little bit for the radical left, then the media would accuse him of treason. And like, no, they would accuse you of terrorism, dude. And that's exactly what fucking Tim Ryan did. He committed fucking terrorism. Then you got dumbass bitch Karen Bass, who's now she's a fucking current congresswoman trying to run for I believe it's LA mayor now. Says her sense of safety in LA went from a 10 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10. Mind you, she was robbed the other day, and they stole multiple guns. They actually caught the guys. You know, it's funny to me, too, that they were able to catch those guys so quickly because it was a fucking actual congressional member of Congress and stuff like that. But yep, because of me being just a random guy, they don't find my shit in over a fucking year, dude. So, you know, seriously, bro, it's fucking bullshit. Anyway, yeah, that seems like about it for that article then. But yeah, it's much crap, dude. I'm going to read some of the comments off of that article, though. See what people said here. Yeah, this guy said it correct. He said there is now a young person who has now died thanks to the dangerous Democrat rhetoric of Tim Ryan and company. Exactly, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Kyler's memory needs to not be in vain, dude. This is why Tim Ryan needs to be tried with fucking accessory to murder at this point, dude. And what's even more bullshit is the fucking guy that killed that Kyler kid. That motherfucker's already been let off on bond right now. Because this is Joe Biden's America, dude. Where you can do anything and you can kill fucking Republican fucking voter base and shit like that, dude. And get away with it as long as you're a fucking Democrat. You can be bail funded out of fucking prison for fucking arson and every other kind of terrorism shit in 2020 by fucking vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris, as long as you're a fucking Democrat and you're the fucking terrorist arm for the fucking Democrat Party, dude. Like, I'm serious when I talk about balkanization, dude. We just need to fucking fracture this country already into balkanization and be done with it, dude. And I've talked about it before, dude, and you can easily set it up, actually. And I'm gonna go ahead and talk about balkanization right now, how we could do it, actually. So basically what you would have with balkanization is you would have America fracture into about 6 to 8 different countries then, and it would basically be what I call mega blocks, which you'd have like 4 to 7 different states come together as like one big blockade of stuff, and they would essentially, what it would be is you would have them, and essentially what would happen is you would have the state governments more or less remain the same. You still have governors, you still have general assemblies, et cetera there. The only difference is that you then have the governors of every state have the ability to go like interstate and stuff like that and sort of make this compact where, you know, let's go ahead and say Ohio has like some kind of resource like, oh, you know, we have extra corn or extra grain or whatever the case be. Okay, now we're going to cut a deal with like, let's go ahead and say Michigan or some other state for that matter, and in this compact, and be like, or Indiana for that matter or something even, and be like, okay, we'll give you this. What do you guys got in return for us kind of thing is what it would be then. And it was like, oh, we have, you know, ammo manufacturing over here. We can give you, you know, these cases of ammo for this grain and stuff like that kind of thing or something. And it would be stuff like that, honestly. Whereas you would also have other places in this whole thing that would just be complete dead zones or like no man's land is what I call them. And it would be different states like New Jersey and stuff like that, where it's, you know, if there's people that, you know, want to be a bunch of assholes and try to fuck with, this current like state or state compact of mega states and stuff like that, they could basically be exiled from those areas into this no man's land is what it would be, man. And it would be similar to the Universal Judge Dredd in that case, where it's like, no, you just get put in the exile, dude. Go fuck yourself kind of thing. And that would be very much kind of Escape from LA kind of shit, because it would be these Democrat run hellholes. And it would basically, in the no man's land, you could have like basically New Frontier and stuff like that. It would be, dude, it would almost be like pure frontier justice 24/7, 365, where you don't know if you're going to make it through the day kind of thing is what it would be. And again, that's why you wouldn't want to be exiled from these places, because it's like, no, you want to stay in these places, because then you would actually have like a say is what it is, dude. And the thing is, you would still have voting rights and stuff like that is what it would be, man. And it's like, because in a lot of cases, what you end up having is you'd have like referendums and stuff like that of like, okay, we have like this thing or whatever the case be, it would be like a once a year kind of vote thing or whatever, where it's like, hey, people of these states or whatever, the interstate compact calls for this kind of thing, whatever the case be. We need to pony up like this much shit or whatever for it. Like, what do you want to do here? Now, granted, would balkanization fuck a lot of us? Would it hurt a lot of us in the long run for a little bit of time in the very beginning and stuff? Probably. However, in the long run, it would help us. It would help our kids. It would help our fucking grandkids. Everything else like that, dude. Now, granted, there's some people out there that would be like, well, I'm not going to have kids or grandkids or whatever the case be. And it's like, again, you can just leave right now, bro. You can just leave right now before we balkanize then, and you can fuck out to some blue state and shit like that. That would be its own hellhole after the fucking collapse is what it would be, dude, in the balkanization and stuff. So, but yeah, I would love to see something happen where we basically have like multiple smaller republics that maybe even you would have something where it would be, Texas is its own thing. You would have maybe a few states around that, like Louisiana and stuff like that, that would be, a smaller compact and stuff. And you would have those basically trade with places like the Ohio compacted states and stuff like that, dude. And it would be some situation like that where it would be like everyday thing. And you'd have, these people that would be, you would essentially have like sentries on like roads and stuff that would keep the roads safe and shit. And it would be people from all these different states and stuff like that, where it would be their job to basically maintain security and everything like that, and be like, yeah, you're going to have these people, transport something down here. It's like, okay, cool. We are guaranteeing you safety kind of thing is what it would be. And it'd be very similar to what we have right now when it comes to concealed carry in this country, and basically reciprocity and whatnot in a lot of the states is what it is, which is essentially what you have is you have the free ability to travel through some state without being arrested for having a concealed carry on you if you have a license and stuff. I forget exactly what the actual terminology is for it, but it's something similar to that, which actually going on that one, I heard a story yesterday about how shitty Texas Law Shield is, which is basically you had some dude down in Texas have a justified self-defense encounter in his own home with his own gun against somebody trying to break in there in Texas. He called up Texas Law Shield and he's like, hey, man, I need you guys to, deal with this shit because I'm paying you money. And they're like, no, it's not covering anything. Thing. And then they sent him like the boilerplate shit or whatever. And it was exactly verbatim what happened to him. And he's just like, how the fuck, dude? Which basically goes back to that whole thing. And I've talked about that several times. We'll talk about that more on Friday, actually, for the 2A cast if I do it then. Which is basically, is having concealed carry insurance licensing even worth it, dude? I don't think it is, honestly, because again, yeah, it's nice to have people on retainer and stuff like that as potential lawyers and shit. But again, if they're not actually going to be there to protect your ass when the time comes, like what the fuck is the point of paying them, $50, $100 a month or whatever it's going to be, or a couple $100 a year, whatever it is then for the whole thing. And it's like, maybe 25 a month or something like that. Because again, that could be more money going towards, ammunition for range days. That could be more money going towards your food bills and everything else like that, man. So I don't know, man. I've always thought those things were kind of a scam in some cases, where they're like, oh yeah, we'll totally cover your ass, and then it's like you actually have to be covered for it because you have like a fatal encounter or deadly force situation or whatever it is, dude. Justified self-defense, something like that. And they're like, oh no, you're not covered at all. Haha, go fuck yourself. We took like $10,000 from you at this point or something like that because it's like 20 years in. Yeah, it's a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. And then you got, I want to talk about this one actually. So for those that haven't heard about the, what's it called here? I think it's called like the JSC something or whatever, JSP. Yeah, I'm trying to find the name of it now. Crap, where's that now? Yeah, it's basically the media cartel bill, is what it is. So you had sack of shit Ted Cruz, who I knew was always a fucking rhino sack of crap in general, dude, has apparently joined with the fucking piece of shit Klobuchar, who should have been out of office at this point already after 2020 and her, running for president and shit like that and failing. Should have been auto DQ from office right then and there, dude. But yeah, so basically they're trying to bail out the mainstream media and fuck the rest of us with tech censorship is what it is, dude. So we got two different articles from Breitbart we're going to talk about here. One was an exclusive article. The other one is something else. It's just like everyday stuff. So first and foremost, you got exclusive Ted Cruz caves to Democrat Amy Klobuchar on media cartel bill. It says Senator Ted Cruz has caved to the Democrats on legislation that would allow media organizations to create formal cartels to negotiate with big tech companies. Several congressional aides and others familiar with the process told Breitbart News on Wednesday. Said if Cruz goes forward with his plans to back and allow the Senate to advance the legislation, then he will immediately become one of the biggest enablers of the establishment media and big tech giants and could seriously jeopardize his political future. Oh, he'd be gone, dude. He would be like, I don't know if Texas has recall voting or not, dude, but they would figure out a way to recall this fucking cocksucker from office over this shit, dude. 100%. He'd be gone, dude. He'd be yanked out of fucking office by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, if nothing else, dude. But yeah, it said Cruz, who had previously jammed up the committee markup on the Journalism Competition and Prevention Act, or JCPA, a few weeks ago, has now decided to give Klobuchar what she wanted and allow the Democrat proposal to proceed out of Senate Judiciary Committee to eventually be considered on a full Senate vote. Fuck that shit, dude. Fuck that. For those wondering what the JCPA is, basically what it would do is me right now talking, I would have no voice anymore after this shit, dude. And I'll tell you right now, dude, there's a reason why our founding fathers gave us the right to free speech as First Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms against a tyrannical government as the Second Amendment, dude. Because they knew shit like this was going to happen at some point, dude. And they knew we were going to fucking fight our own government is what it is, dude. And I feel like, truthfully, when it comes to sparks of revolution, sparks of civil war in this country, dude, this is just one more fucking spark towards shit right now. As I said on Rumble several times, we already got the fuse being lit and the fucking spark, sizzling towards the big old pile of gunpowder right now. Like, this would pretty much be the shit that just boom, blows up the entire fucking shack where it's being stored in and stuff like that, dude, 1776 style. So, anyway. Taking on with this, though, it said, not to mention we'd also have MAGA lawsuits over this shit, too, by the way. Let's see here. It said, several aides on both sides of the JCPA fight familiar with the matter told Breitbart News on Wednesday that Cruz caved to Klobuchar and has agreed to changes to language he offered in an amendment to allow the bill to advance. When questioned repeatedly about it on Wednesday, Cruz's office did not deny those aides' characterizations. Said Cruz himself has not replied to inquiries from Breitbart News sent over text directly to him. Says Senator Cruz staffers have refused to answer whether he cut a deal with Klobuchar, and they have refused to make the senator available for an interview to explain himself. And this is exactly why we need to have automatic disqualification every seat of power in this country, dude. First of all, Amy Klobuchar should have been fucking gone with the 2020 presidential race, dude. She should have been out of office that fucking day when she tried to run for office at a higher level, dude. Ted Cruz over this shit should be fucking gone on the spot, dude. Number 1. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. It's as simple as that, dude. So, anyway. Oh, by the way, going back to the Putin thing for a minute there, that was one of the things Putin said. He accuses the West of nuclear blackmail. I think he wants to get us into a nuclear war is what it is, dude. So, I think they're all a bunch of crazy fuckers, dude. And it's basically who's got the smaller dick is what it is right now. And who wants to fucking, swing swords is what it ends up being, dude. Because they all got a bunch of teeny swords is what it is, man. And most of them don't work anymore. So there you go. Fucking literally saber rattling, dude. With small dick men. So, anywho. Yeah, see, going back to speaking of small dick men, going back to the Ted Cruz article, it says Cruz spokesman would only provide, when asked, detailed and serious questions about the possibility of a deal and what form the deal would take. A generic statement claiming that Cruz opposes censorship of conservatives, something that would be inherently untrue if he votes for or simply just, even just enables Senate consideration for the legislation. Yeah, it's a bunch of crap, dude, entirely. And it goes on to talk about Senator John Kerry from Louisiana and stuff like that, about him basically being a little bitch too, as well as what it is, dude. It says the original amendment a few weeks. Where right now? Yeah. Yeah, it said original Cruz amendment a few weeks ago complicated efforts by bill proponents to get the proposal out of Senate Judiciary Committee. The reason for that was, well, Kennedy backed it, as did other GOP co-sponsors for the JCPA. Democrats like Klobuchar were opposed to it. By happenstance, Senator John Ossoff, who, by the way, shouldn't even legally hold power in this country, by the way, right now. I'll leave it at that right now. Again, 2,000 mules says everything right there. Was stranded in India. Why the fuck you in India when you're a sitting senator, dude? Infected with corona and had not designated a proxy vote for himself. So the Cruz amendment was adopted into the bill, and GOP co-sponsors like Kennedy and Lindsey Graham, as well as supporter Chuck Grassley, had not been willing to vote for the bill without Cruz's amendment. As such, a visibly angry Klobuchar withdrew her own bill, and she tried again last week to no avail. Now, thanks to Cruz's cave, she is likely to succeed in committee when she tries again on Thursday morning. Fuck that shit, dude. Fuck that bullshit entirely. And then continuing on with the other thing here that we're going to read about this, which is the Cruz-Klobuchar amendment doesn't fix JCPA, censorship enabling bailout for the establishment media is what this is labeled as here. Said, yeah, what a couple of fucking pieces of shit. Especially Demon Klobuchar, dude. Like, that woman is 100% a fucking pedophile. Like, there's no way she's not, dude. And at this point, Ted Cruz is a fucking cokehead for sure. I guarantee when Madison Cawthorn was talking about people taking coke bumps in front of him, shit, dude, Ted Cruz is probably one of the ones taking key style coke bumps, is what it was, dude. It's only a cokehead would cave to this bullshit. So on September 8th, the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on JCPA, Senator Ted Cruz introduced a proposal which temporarily forced Democrat co-sponsors to withdraw the bill entirely. Said if Senator Cruz intended to expose Democrats' pro-censorship motivations, he succeeded, but inevitably he has now agreed on a new amendment with Senator Amy Klobuchar, who shouldn't even be a U.S. Senator right now, that enables and facilitates the censorship her proponents facilitates the censorship Cruz proposed to oppose. The core concept of the JCPA is to allow media companies to form a legal cartel in the U.S. for the sole purpose of negotiating with tech giants for special favors. Yeah, fuck that shit, dude. Fuck that. So when Cruz successfully inserted an amendment into the derided media bailout bill, limiting the scope of those negotiations to price, it exposed the pro-censorship motivations of the Democrats' bill supporters. Its lead sponsor, Amy Klobuchar, preferred to withdraw the bill from consideration rather than limit the ability of a media cartel to demand big tech companies censor their competitors. So what they really mean, again, like I said, is people like myself, dude. People like myself who are independent journalists who actually give a fuck about this country and give a fuck about our First Amendment. They would be censoring people like me, dude, is what it is. Fuck that shit. I would sue these cocksuckers into the fucking ground over that shit, dude. And I would succeed in class action lawsuits with many other individuals, is what it would be, dude. Anyway. And actually, I wouldn't even sue the fucking big tech companies. I'd sue these fucking piece of shit senators to begin with, dude. Because that's what needs to happen right now. These fucking people, dude, these fucking worthless ass pieces of shit who shouldn't even be in office in many cases should be able to legally be sued out of fucking office over this kind of shit, dude. Starting with fucking demon cunt and blue Amy Klobuchar, who is a known fucking baby killer, who is a known fucking anti-life sack of shit, anti-gun sack of shit. Fucking demon cunt. Anyway, where are we at here now? Said notably, conservative icon Cruz came to Klobuchar in order to secure a backroom deal to facilitate JCPA's passage through committee without having solved any of the core structural censorship or other concerns within the bill. The deal is a type of DC swamp creature maneuvering that Cruz has berated Republicans for since joining the Senate. In the process, Klobuchar revealed the JCPA was never about rescuing mythical small town newspapers. It's about cementing the power and influence of establishment media corporations while crushing their independent competitors on social media. Exactly, dude. Exactly. And that's why this fucking cunt needs to get her ass slapped out of fucking office, dude. For real. It's why Klobuchar should be facing fucking handcuffs right now by every single cop in this fucking country, dude, over this shit. And the same thing with that bitch motherfucker Ted Cruz. Anyway, carrying on with this, though, it said, even with the Cruz-Klobuchar amendment, the JCPA still enables censorship and shuts out the media's competitors. There are a variety of ways in which the bill, as it is currently written, allows the media cartel to exclude competitors from the benefits of negotiations with tech companies. As previously reported, the bill empowers media companies to exclude members based on virtually any criteria. Said via Breitbart News. Specifically, the new JCPA contains a provision that allows enable media companies forming a cartel to create admission criteria for membership unrelated to the size of an eligible digital journalism provider or the views expressed by its content, including criteria to limit membership to only eligible publishers or eligible broadcasters. That provision is significant, especially for its speciality. These mainstream and left-wing media cartels may not exclude based on size or, quote, views expressed by its content, but that is not how the exclusion happens or will happen. Said the self-appointed mainstream and left-wing media cartels are allowed to exclude based on the usual totally subjective factors they always do, such as trustworthiness, fake news, extremism, misinformation, hate speech, conspiracy, correction policy, expertise, authoritarianism, etc. Said, well, the Ted Cruz Amy Klobuchar amendment may limit formal negotiations between media cartels and big tech to price. There is no way to prevent the effects of the informal ties that they will develop between the cartel's representatives and companies like Google, Facebook, and Twitter, an already corrupt relationship in which big tech companies voluntarily donate billions of dollars to propping up the corporate media, not to mention pay for the fucking campaigns of pieces of shit like Amy Klobuchar, dude. And that's the entire point. And that's what I've said before, dude. This fucking backdoor dark money bullshit, fucking bribery crap that's been going on in our country for decades, dude, needs to fucking end. And it needs to fucking end with these people being arrested for deprivation of rights under color of law at this point, dude. And why deprivation of rights under color of law needs to be a fucking federal felony nationwide at this point. Anyway, it says, of course, the Cruz-Klobuchar amendment does not even attempt to address the myriad other anti-publisher and cartel-enabling provisions of the bill, such as the impossibility, problematic, arbitration, and litigation provisions. Said, for example, bill provides that a cartel may force a big tech company to an arbitration proceeding to determine pricing, but in any such proceeding, the big tech company will have the inherent advantage possessing all of the relevant algorithmic and competitive information, not to mention more money, resources, and lawyers to fight the aberration with. Such a proceeding, said it's an impossibility and a conundrum the sponsors of the JCPA are either blind to or don't care about. It's number. This is the second one, dude. It's always number two. They don't give a fuck about it, dude. Actually, it's probably both. They're blind to it and they don't give a fuck about it, dude. It said, no, they just want to ram a poorly conceived and structured bill through. Exactly, dude. They don't care. This is the thing about the Democrat Party, dude. They don't care how they win. Okay, I'm not sure when my audio cut out there. So I'm going to go ahead and reread that now. Yeah, it said it's an impossibility and conundrum the sponsors of the JCPA are either blind to or don't care about. It's probably both, actually. They're blind and they don't care about it. Said, no, they just want to ram a poorly conceived and structured bill through. The thing is here with this all the shit, dude, is the Democrats don't care how they get a fucking win as long as they get a win, dude. Even if it's one of the worst wins possible, even if they're going to be sued to the fucking ground over it when it's all said and done, dude. They don't fucking care because it's going to take the American people fucking decades to sue their fucking asses into the ground and get the shit overturned is what it is, dude. In reality, they should be arrested on the fucking spot for the shit they're pulling right now, dude, because they're attempting to deprive every American citizen of their constitutional rights to everything right now, dude. To the First Amendment of fucking freedom of speech and freedom of the fucking press, dude. And it's a bunch of shit entirely, dude. Said, what's the remedy for the new media for a new media company excluded from a cartel? Well, it can sue in federal court to be included. Doing so will cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and expose all kinds of confidential and proprietary data to one's competitors. Exactly, dude. That's what it fucking is. They're trying to fuck over everybody is what it is, dude. So that can't be understated. The built-in deference to an excluded news media company to pursuing such a remedy, assuming for an instant that it has the resources to even do so. After all, the whole alleged purpose, said, of the JCPA is to help financially crippled local media. It is sociify to think that these financially crippled local media outlets would have to have the requisite money and resources to mount such fights. It's for those reasons that Senator Ted Cruz's actions represent such a betrayal. He and Senator Amy Klobuchar both have presidential admirations, and they're on full display here. Both will walk away from the JCPA table, trumpeting the mantle of bipartisanship to push their own personal agendas. Meanwhile, Main Street Americans will be left behind as usual with even fewer resources to turn up to for news that isn't controlled by big tech censorship. In fact, news media will only become more beholden to big tech if JCPA passes. And that's what I'm saying, dude. And you want to talk about the sparks to the Second American Civil War? It's shit like this right fucking here, dude. It's bullshit like this. It's unconstitutional tyranny like this. It's fucking big tech censorship. And it's the exact kind of fucking horseshit I've been talking about forever, dude, of exactly why we must have an Internet Bill of Rights going forward right now, dude. Fuck these people. They should all be fucking tossed in prison and be sharing the same damn prison cells with each other for the rest of their worthless ass days on this earth right now, dude. Minimum. And I won't go into what should be the maximum. It's as simple as that, because y'all know what the maximum should be, man. And I can't say things on that on here because, again, I can't. Exactly. Yeah. It's a whole fucking thing. But no, seriously, though. These people should be facing life imprisonment for deprivation of rights or color of laws, what it is, dude. Minimum. So, anyway, yeah. If you aren't pissed off, you should be. And if you aren't fucking railing against tyranny, you need to be, man. And it's as simple as that, really. I'm fucking over it. I'm fucking sick and tired of it. I'm so fucking, like, I swear to fucking God, dude. Like, this is many reasons why I've talked on Rumble Quakes before, why we don't need a federal government at all anymore, dude. Why we should just dissolve the federal government entirely, go back to states' rights, just have state governments only, and have the ability to recall vote at the state level is what it is, dude. And it would make this country so much better off. And again, every single day that goes by, balkanization looks just a little bit better. Looks just a little bit better, man. Even if we're all living in shit. At least then we would be fucking free, man. And it's as simple as that, really. And that's exactly why I use the icon today of the beatings will continue until morale improves, dude, because it is such a fucking true statement. Because that's what it is, dude. They're trying to beat us over the fucking head with a bag of potatoes, a sack of potatoes, and don't think that we're going to fight back against that shit, dude. You know, they're trying to bamboozle our asses every fucking chance that they get. And it's like, no, I don't prefer to be bamboozled, dude. I don't prefer to be fucking hoodwinked. I don't prefer to be jack-wagoned, any of that shit, dude. You know? None of that crap, dude. I prefer to have people shoot it straight, you know, and be for real about what their fucking intentions are, not be a bunch of fucking scumbag cunts who shouldn't even be in fucking office anymore, dude. And that's exactly what both Amy Klobuchar and Ted Cruz are. They're a couple of fucking scumbag cunts who shouldn't even be in fucking office anymore, dude. Period. End of story. They both need tossed out of the U.S. Senate. They both need to be in jail, and it's as simple as that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one.